everyone. I miss seeing you all here at the Y, but even though you're stuck at home, I wanted to give you guys some options that you can do to get your strength training in. I know it's hard when you don't have the gym to come to or maybe weights around your house to use, but I wanted to give you some options of some things you can do at home with items you may have laying around your house to get your strength training in. So today I'm going to be training Mary and putting her through a workout that you guys can then replicate at home. So we're going to start first with some prehab work to make sure you're good and warmed up before we get into the actual exercises. So you're going to have 3 different things that you're going to go through 2 rounds of to make sure you're good and warmed up for the 2 supersets we'll be doing later. So the first one we're going to do is a glute march. So you want to raise your hips up off the floor, squeeze your glutes and your hamstrings really tight, and then lift one leg and then the other, alternating back and forth. The goal is that your hips don't drop or go up above the flat line, and also that they don't wiggle side to side. So with that, you're going to do 10 on each leg, raising up and down. Okay, all right. And then once you're done your 10, I'll have you stand up off the floor. We're going to we have water bottles here today, so that's what we're going to use. If you have soup cans, you could use that as well. If you have dumbbells or kettlebells at home, by all means, grab those and use those too. So with these, she's going to bend over, so stick her butt out and keep her chest up. That way her back stays nice and straight. Her head's going to be down a little bit. That way her neck is not arched up. And then she's going to pull with her shoulder blades straight back for a T, up and out for a Y, and then straight up for the I. And then you're going to cycle through those 3 exercises until you do a total of 8 reps in each direction. Okay, so you would go out to the side, straight up and out, and then straight up by your ears, concentrating on pulling with your shoulder blades and not just throwing your arms up in the air. All right, and then after that, the last one you're going to do is a hollow hold. So with that, you'll be back down on the ground. The easiest modification with this is if you bring both knees up to your chest and then reach forward with your hands. You want to squeeze your abs tight so that your back stays flat on the floor, like you're pushing it into the ground and not coming off your back. The goal with this exercise is to hold it for 30 seconds. If this is too easy for you, you can extend one leg out. If that's too easy, you can extend both legs out. And then the hardest variation is if you bring your arms up over your head. No matter which variation you choose, make sure your back stays flat on the floor and doesn't start arching up, and you want to hold that position for 30 seconds. Okay, so you can relax. But so you'll do those 3 exercises 2 times, and then that will complete the prehab portion of the workout. Okay, so for our first superset, we're going to have 2 different exercises. We're going to be doing squats and we're going to be doing push-ups. So you'll do your first set of squats, then your first set of push-ups, and then rotate between those 2 until you do a total of 3 rounds. So for the squat, we want to try to get you loaded with weight in some way. So one easy option is to use a milk jug. You can fill it with water or sand to make it heavier. If you have a 5-gallon bucket, you can hold that in front of your chest and fill that with bricks or food or anything you can get your hands on. Or kettlebells or dumbbells are another good option. So I'm going to have Mary hold that right up against her chest. She wants to have her feet about shoulder width apart. Then she's going to screw her feet in. So she's going to dig her big toe into the floor and then rotate out to dig her pinky toe into the floor. And then that's going to give her a nice arch in her foot as well as pull her knees out and activate her glutes. So after she has that position in her feet, she's going to drive her knees out and sit back into her squat. Keep that milk jug nice and tight. And you want to get down so your hips are about around knee height or a little bit below. Try to break that parallel line and keep that chest up so your back stays nice and flat and you don't fall over. So you're going to be doing 12 repetitions of that, and then after you get done your 12, we'll then move into the push-ups. All right. So for the push-ups, again, there's several different variations you can do based off of your strength level. The first one is with your knees on the ground. So you want to have knees down. Keep your abs tight and your glutes tight, that way your back doesn't arch, and then your hands are going to be underneath your shoulders. Once you have the hands under your shoulders, you want to tighten up your lats or those muscles in your back, that way that your elbow is brought in and your When you come down, your arms will be at about a 45-degree angle from your body. So once you get your starting position, you'll then lower your chest down to the floor and then push back up, okay? Always keeping your elbows over your wrists and about 45 degrees from your body. So if that's too easy for you, you can bring your knees up and you want to lower yourself completely onto the floor and then back up. If you can't get an entire push-up, you can keep your knees up on the descent, so knees up, down, then put your knees down to press back up. So up, and then knees stay down to press up, okay? And you'll again do 12 repetitions of this, and then that will be 1 round, and you're gonna do then 2 additional rounds of the squats and then the push-ups. All right, so now we're on to our second superset. So we're gonna have 2 different exercises that you'll cycle through. Again, we wanna complete 3 total rounds with these 2 exercises. So our first one is a single leg RDL. So Mary's gonna be using paint cans for this. Another option, you can use their 5-gallon buckets if you have kettlebells or dumbbells, or even if you have a grocery bag that you can fill full of different items. But you're gonna have a weight in each hand. She'll be standing on one leg, and then the other leg she's not standing on is gonna come up in the air as she bends over to touch the kettlebells down to the floor, and then she's gonna squeeze her glutes and her hamstrings tight to pull herself up. So with this, you want to make sure you're hinging at your hip and not just bending over and rounding your back, so your core stays tight, focusing on driving your foot through the floor and squeezing your glutes and your hamstrings tight at the top. So you'll do 10 of those on one leg, and then you'll switch legs, so put the other leg down, and then do 10 on the other leg, okay? And then after that, we're gonna move into the 3-point row. So for this one, Mary's gonna be using a grocery bag that we have put canned goods and water bottles in. That's an option. You can also use dumbbells or kettlebells or paint cans or anything you have that you can get a handle on. But she's gonna have one hand on a chair or a table or bench. You wanna have your feet staggered, and the hand that has the weight is the foot that's gonna be back behind. She's gonna again keep her core tight so her back stays level, and then she's gonna row the bag up and then back down. As she's rowing up, she's gonna squeeze her shoulder blade, pulling that back to the middle of her back, and then releasing on the way down. As you're rowing, you wanna make sure that your shoulder doesn't start coming up to your ear. You wanna keep your back muscles tight in order to keep the shoulder down as you're rowing up. So you'll do 10 of those on one arm, then you'll switch sides, switch your feet and your hands, and do 10 on the other side. Okay? So that would be 1 round, and then after you complete that round, you're gonna do 2 more rounds to get your 3 rounds of the superset number 2. All right, so the last portion of our workout is gonna be a core workout. So again, there's gonna be 2 different exercises that we're gonna do. And with this, we're just gonna be doing 2 rounds. So you'll do 1 round of both exercises and then repeat both exercises 1 more time. So the first one we're gonna do is a side plank hip tap. There's several different variations you can do. We're gonna start with the easiest one. So Mary's gonna keep both knees down on the floor and then lift her hips up off the floor, and then she'll drop her hips and raise them up. As she's doing this, you wanna make sure that your elbow is underneath your shoulder, not out too far or under or too far under. And you're gonna be squeezing with your muscles in your side to lift your hips up. If that's too easy, you'll straighten out your legs and then stagger your feet so both feet are on the floor. So you wanna put this foot in front, there you go. And drop your hip and raise it up. And then the hardest variation is to put feet one on top of the other. Whichever variation you use, make sure you can raise your hip all the way up and get a straight line at the top and keep your elbow under your shoulder. So you're gonna do 10 of those on one side, and then you'll flip over and do 10 on the other side. And then the last one we have is a weighted crunch. So Mary's gonna take her gallon of water. You could use, again, anything that you can get a handle on. So a paint can, a bucket, you can fill that with either water or sand, or if you have dumbbells or kettlebells, that can be used. If you have kids at home or a friend that can hold your feet down, you can do that. Or if you have a low couch, you can stick your feet under the couch as well. But she's gonna hold the milk jug right at her chest, so up a little higher, there you go. And then she's just gonna sit up with it all the way up and then back down. So you wanna get your shoulder blades and most of your back up off the floor, squeezing your abs tight. and it should be your abs pulling you up and not your neck trying to tighten up and arch your head up. Okay, so you're gonna do 10 repetitions of that. And then after you finish that round, you'll repeat those exercises each one more time, and that will have completed your workout for today.